Since 2014, the revolutionary force in retro entertainment. Hey guys, welcome back to ASMR Retro. Today is July 1st, 2023, and it is Canada Day. So happy Canada Day to my fellow Canadians out there and to anyone else watching. And to celebrate, I figure I'd eat some of these Cheetos. Here's limited time. They're calling them Cheetos Leaves ketchup flavor. You can see they're shaped like the Canadian maple leaf, which is pretty cool, and they got ketchup on it. And I'll be drinking some Canada Dry as well. And on top of that, I figure I'll talk about, while I'm eating, some Canadian wrestlers, because why not? So let's check out this bag first. It's a nice little touch where they say, I don't know if you can see that, but it says, sorry, limited time only. It's the sorry thing that's funny, because, that, I guess Canadians are always apologizing. Well, that's a stereotype at least. Like Chester Cheetah's Canadian hat there. He's adding ketchup to the maple leaf, so that's pretty cool. Flip it over. And it says, Dangerously Canadian. Celebrate summer with unique maple leaf shaped covered in Canada's iconic ketchup flavor. See, I never thought that ketchup was a Canadian thing until kind of recently. I just thought that everyone loves ketchup because it's so delicious. It says, warning, mischievous flavors. For the first time ever, Cheetos Leaves snacks have ditched the classic Cheetos cheesy flavor. Alright, so that's pretty cool. And of course, just good old Canada Dry ginger ale. Yeah, I know it's not owned by a Canadian company. Yeah, it probably was back in the day. I'm sure it was invented by a Canadian, but got bought out by God knows who. I'm sure I could find out if I really cared, but I don't. Oh, looks like there's a chance to win $100,000, so maybe I'll get lucky. Okay, let me pour out these Cheetos. All right, let's take a look at this. So it's, you can see the maple leaf shape there. Oh yeah, I can smell that good ketchup flavor. All right, let me take a taste. That's quite good. Whoops, I dropped one on the floor. Don't worry, I'll get it later. Very Canadian indeed. Right, I'll take a sip of my Canada Dry. I don't know if you can hear the fizzing. No, probably not. Oh, good stuff. Okay, let me start talking about some of these Canadian wrestlers. First and foremost, of course, I have to mention Bret Hart from Calgary, Alberta. Legendary wrestler, probably one of my top 5 wrestlers of all time. And I loved when he did I always loved him, but I really loved when he did the Canada versus US angle back in the late 90s. Oh man, it was such a fun time to watch wrestling. What a great in-ring performer. Some people say that he didn't have the mic skills, but I thought they were pretty good. Alright, next up is Owen Hart. obviously also from Calgary, Alberta. I enjoyed Owen Hart, not as much as I liked Bret Hart, but he was pretty funny, and apparently pretty funny backstage too. It's a real shame that he left us way too early, but what are you gonna do? And then of course I have to mention Stu Hart, their father, and the, I guess, reason why there is a million Harts in the wrestling business. And he was from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. That could be a pretty good trigger word. It's kind of hard to say though. But yeah, I never seen him wrestle, obviously. But I always remember he would be at the big Bret Hart matches, and Jerry the King Lawler would just mercilessly make fun of him. Which I guess Bret Hart said it was okay, but man, that was kind of harsh. Okay. Next up is a weird one. I learned something here. Chris Jericho, who, he's from Winnipeg, Manitoba, supposedly. Well, actually, this is what I found out, was that he was born in the USA. Both of his parents are Canadian. And then I guess when he was young, they moved to Winnipeg. But he has a dual citizenship, so he's a Canadian citizen, so he's Canadian. And his parents are Canadian too, so, not the biggest Jericho fan in terms of his in-ring work, but I like his promos. I think he's really funny, so there you go. Okay. I think I dropped another one. Better clean the floor before my dog gets at it. Okay, we have, this surprised me too. Rocky Johnson, the father of The Rock, is also Canadian. He was born in Amherst, Nova Scotia, and I'm like, did I know that? I'm not sure if I knew that or not, but that's pretty cool. I guess the bloodline sort of extends to Canada. I don't know if that counts, but anyway, yeah, Rocky Johnson from Nova Scotia. Maybe that's why The Rock played for the CFL, or maybe it wasn't good enough for the NFL. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Okay. These are really good, by the way. I should buy another pack and save it because it's limited time. Might be worth something in the future. Okay, next up is Brock Lesnar. Yes, he was born in the USA, but he moved to Canada, to Merrifield, Saskatchewan, and he is a citizen of Canada now, so that's pretty cool. Santino Marella from Mississauga, Ontario. I always liked Santino. I just thought he was funny. Some people don't like any comedy in wrestling whatsoever, but and I can see where they're coming from, but anyways, I liked him. I thought he was funny. I don't think he lives there anymore. I saw a recent shoot interview where he's like, he moved into the middle of nowhere, Ontario or some other province, I don't know. But yeah, he is Canadian. No, he's not from Milan, Italy. Or wherever he was supposed to be from. Alright. Next up is Kenny Omega from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I don't know too much about him. I know who he is. I've seen clips of him doing moves and stuff, but I don't think I've sat down and watched a complete Kenny Omega match. So, I've heard good things, I've heard bad things, but if anyone can recommend a particular match that really shows off his abilities, and that's available on YouTube or something like that, let me know. I'll definitely check it out. Then there's Kyle O'Reilly from Delta, British Columbia. I didn't know he was Canadian, but I remember watching him on ROH and then NXT, and now I believe he's in AEW. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, Kevin Owens. I know I'm going to say this wrong, but he's from Saint Jean sur Richelieu. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. He's from Quebec. I'll just leave it at that. I enjoy Kevin Owens. I still watch wrestling with my dad sometimes, and he seems to really like Kevin Owens, especially when he's a heel. And then every time Kevin Owens gets, pissed and things don't go his way, my dad just cracks up laughing. I don't know what it is about Kevin Owens. My dad likes to laugh at him, but I look at him, he's good. By the way, guys, let me know if the crunching is too loud in these videos. I never know if I'm overdoing it, but and of course, you can't talk about Kevin Owens without talking about Sami Zayn from Laval, Quebec. I think that's how you say it. Sami Zayn is awesome too, especially with the whole bloodline angle and stuff like that. He got super over, so I'm proud of him for really making it. It's really cool for him. And then there is Trish Stratus from Toronto, Ontario. She was, I remember seeing her back in the day, and she kind of helped turn the tides in terms of, just being she's obviously a very good looking woman, but she was more than that. She was pretty good at wrestling too, and she seemed to actually care about wrestling. And that's, at that time they had some women who didn't really seem to care. They just they're there for the, to try to launch an acting career or whatever, and they couldn't wrestle for crap. But, so yeah, Trish Stratus, Toronto, Ontario. And then we have Natalia Neidhart, from Calgary, Alberta. Of course, the daughter of Jim Neanville Neidhart, who wasn't Canadian, but I guess they moved to Canada or something. I don't know. She's pretty good. She's been around for ages. Pretty good veteran of the sport. Not too much more to say about her. These are really good. If I didn't say that already. Okay. Next on my list is Bobby Roode from Peterborough, Ontario. I pretty much never watched TNA, maybe only like 2 or 3 times. But I remember seeing him on there. I believe that's where I saw him. And I was like, oh, he's pretty good. And then I remember when he came to NXT, I was like, oh, this guy's really good. And I really liked his intro. I remember it being really, really cool. I haven't seen him in ages. I don't even know if he's still with the WWE. I have no idea. But he's pretty cool. And speaking of pretty cool, we have Edge from Orangeville, Ontario. Of course, I remember seeing Edge's debut when he had all those vignettes of him just like wandering the city and whatnot. A legendary wrestler, no doubt about that. I can't say that he's my favorite wrestler. He wouldn't make my top 5. I'm not even sure probably wouldn't make my top 10 either, but I do recognize his superstar status, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? Maybe. Okay, next up, as you might predict, is Christian Cage from Kitchener, Ontario. And I was never really sure if he was really Canadian or not. I thought they were just saying that he was Canadian because at first he was supposed to be Edge's brother. Maybe he moved to the States when he was young or something like that. I don't know. But he was born in Canada, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. And then there's Roddy Piper, another legend from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And I remember him from back in the day, of course. And for the longest time, they were saying that he was Bret Hart's cousin. But I think relatively recently, it was, or maybe in Bret Hart's book or something, they said that they weren't really cousins. They thought they were for like a long time, but then they realized they weren't really cousins. Something like that. I don't know, bro. Okay, I have a few more left here on my list. Next up is Lance Storm from Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. Now that's weird because it wasn't his thing. He would always say from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. He had a specific way of saying it. I guess he moved it there, so I'm not 100% sure. Most of this info is from Wikipedia, so I'm not sure if they mean like that's where they were born or that's where they currently live. One or the other, it's close enough. As long as they have some connection to Canada, they made my list. Okay, next up is Tyson Kidd from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I believe he was married, I don't know if he still is, to Natalia. And I don't know if he wrestles anymore. I know I remember him from the WWE. But yeah, I don't know. Did he get injured or something? I don't know. I don't remember the story. And then there's Davy Boy Smith Jr., the son of Davy Boy Smith, who is the British Bulldog. And he is from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Of course, his dad was from England. I don't know exactly where, but yeah, so I remember him. Again, I don't know if he's still wrestling or not, or he just said, screw it, I don't want to be a wrestler, or I don't know. This one surprised me too. Lanny Poffo, who was Macho Man's brother, and who sadly passed away recently, earlier this year, I believe. But apparently he's from Calgary, Alberta, even though Macho Man was from the States. So I guess, again, I don't know if that means he moved there, became a citizen, or maybe he was born there because they moved, I don't know. But anyways, Lanny Poffo. I remember when he was the genius in the WWF back in the day. Not my favorite gimmick, but you know. And last one I have on my list is Steve Corino from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I remember watching him in the ECW days. Those were good times. So that's it for my list. Certainly, there's a lot more Canadian wrestlers that I didn't mention. But if you guys could think of anything that you want me to add to the list, let me know. And I'll just finish up these last few. They're no longer maple leaf shaped, but you know, that's what it is. They're still delicious. Alright, so I think that'll wrap things up. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a safe and fun Canada Day, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.